Hey guys, James here. I recently completed Andy Frisella's 75 Hard Challenge, and I want to jump on and do a quick video about sort of what the challenge is all about, why I took part in the challenge, again, my results, and also some lessons and tips that I took away from it. I actually vlogged every day as part of the challenge. I completed it last week on Thursday, and you can find that in my channel. I did 75 days of videos unpacking the books I'm reading mainly, but also a bit of a daily update on how I was doing. So what is, first of all, the 75 Hard Challenge, and what did I do for the past, or the better part of the last 75 days? So 75 Hard the 75 Hard program was created by a guy named Andy Frisella, who is a businessman in the States. It's basically a program, a mental discipline and mental toughness program that incorporates things like fitness, reading, and most importantly, self-discipline. And it will tries to change your outlook on life and what you do, and things you can take into your life after the challenge itself. So there was a number of targets that I had to complete every single day. Those were two 45-minute workouts. One had to be outside. I had to drink a gallon of water, which is about 3.8 liters for those using the metric system. I had to follow a diet, which included no cheat meals and no alcohol. I had to take a progress picture every day, and I also had to read for at least 10 minutes, preferably a non-fiction / personal development book. And the kicker is, if you miss any of those targets in any of the days, you must start again at day one. So all 5 targets had to be met every single day for 75 days. So you might be asking yourself, well, why on earth would I, subject myself to something? And it's a bit of a funny one. So this is the second time that I had done the challenge, and I had been working from home, I guess, since early March, and I was having a great time back in March. Work was sort of slowing up, and it was a bit of a novelty being at home, and I got a bit too comfortable. And someone like me, living in excess, not really caring about what I was eating or drinking, I sort of had a wake up call and thought to myself, well, fuck, I'm gonna need to change something here. And it was a tough time at the time. We had just gone into lockdown here in Australia, and it was just cruisy, and it was getting a bit too comfortable. And it wasn't until sort of mid-April that I woke up one morning and thought, fuck, I've got no structure, no routine in my days. Work was turning into a real grind at that stage. It was getting tough to make sales and to work with my clients, especially remotely. They were going through a tough time, and the world was in chaos, really. And I woke up that one morning and said, fuck, I need to take back control, and I need to inject some sort of semblance of work balance, some semblance of structure into my days, and decided to embark on this 75 Hard Challenge again for the second time. The kicker was that I had added one task to the challenge, which was to vlog every single day, as part of my experiences with the challenge, and also unpacking the books that I was reading. And the reason I did this was I had just happened to finish Dave Goggins' book Can't Hurt Me, and he spoke about doing something uncomfortable every single day and getting out of your comfort zone. And this, to me, was that additional part of getting uncomfortable. I had never vlogged before, spoken on camera for a long time, did anything on YouTube, and thought, fuck, well, what a time to do it. And so here we are. And this is, I guess, the crux of why I embarked on this for a second time. So in terms of results, how did I do? What did I do? So I will say it again, that this is not a fitness challenge by any means, but things like weight loss, getting fitter, getting stronger is definitely a byproduct of the challenge. I managed to lose 11 kilos in the roughly 11 weeks doing it, and I'll put a photo up of my results there. It's about 24 pounds for those in the imperial system. In terms of my workouts, how they looked like, so the 2 workouts generally consisted of an early morning walk, sometimes early morning jog. My workouts were at home, effectively for 10 of the weeks. Only in the last week of the challenge, the gyms start opening up here in Melbourne, and I did a combination of some upper body, lower body workouts at home. I went for runs 2 or 3 times a week, and I also incorporated one active rest day as part of my week. So every 7 to 10 days, I guess, I would do 2 walks and then incorporate some sort of stretching, mobility, core exercises as part of that day to allow my body to recover in a certain fashion. In terms of the books, I actually managed to read 14 books. Some of them were rereads, some of them are new. I am an avid reader already, and I had actually set my own personal challenge this year to read every day for 20 minutes starting from Jan 1. So I actually continued that throughout the challenge, hence why I was able to read so many books. I read some fucking great books like Atomic Habits by James Clear, Relentless by Tim Grover, Meditations, Seneca, a lot of Stoic philosophy, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. I'll put those titles in the description, and really sort of jumped at the chance to read as I had taken sort of my news consumption and social media consumption down a whole notch just because of everything that was going on. So it's cool to replace that with the books. So it was look, I'll be honest, it was a pretty solid 75 days. Again, this is the second time that I've done it, but I think the difference was this time I was at home, was stuck with all this craziness going on. And I'm not gonna lie, there were days where it was fucking gravy. The sun was out, workouts felt great, work was going okay. And I realized those were the fucking easy days, and it's easy to get into the mindset of doing things when they're easy. Because on the flip side, there were some fucking horrid days where I just could not be fucked. It was, the cold early morning walk. Some mornings, especially into June, were 1, 2, 3 degrees at 6 a.m. Grinding through a run or a jog, at 8 o'clock at night. Working from home effectively turned into a torture exercise. So trying to do that and juggling the challenge at the same time just really sucked. But it was those days that sucked that really put the rest of the challenge into perspective. Because what I realized, and I'll speak about this next when I speak about the lessons that I sort of took out of it, was it's those days that sucked that put into perspective, because it was still a win on the day. I had the 5 targets that I had to do, and even if the day was shit, even if work was shit, even if I was feeling sore and achy, it was a win for the day because of all the boxes were ticked, and that was sort of really hit home, and sort of it forms a segue of some of the lessons that I took out of 75 Hard. So I did it for the second time, so I had to. The good thing about doing it for the second time was being able to sort of really get into the flow of things. And not sort of worry about, I've knew some of the tips already on how to do it because I did the first time. So there's a lot more, introspection, this time around. I don't know if it was because of lack of human contact or isolation here at home. We didn't get out very much, but I really got to thinking much more than I did last time. And so I took away 5 lessons that I'm going to share with you now. So lesson number 1, the importance of structure and routine. We always get told how important having some sort of structure and routine is to your day. And it was not as evident as it was during a time of, crisis like we are in at the moment. Having something to focus on as the world effectively descended into chaos with coronavirus and COVID made my mind being able to focus on something much more at ease, much more at peace, because I was able to focus on things I could control. And that's the beauty of doing something like 75 Hard. And it doesn't have to be 75 Hard. You can pick any sort of program, any sort of challenge, things that you set for yourself. But the key is giving yourself some structure and routine to focus on, to give you that semblance of control, that you have something that you can work towards, and you can ignore all the noise. And that's what really mattered in the end, the last 2 or 3 months that I've come out sort of again, now we're in July, everything's still going. I haven't sat for the last 3 months and just sort of wallowed in being too indulgent at home, or, getting into some bad habits that I could have easily fallen into, especially stressing out. I was able to structure my day and get on with the task at hand, which leads to the second one, which is how important is getting a little bit better every single day. And like I said, even on the shit days, even on the days that I couldn't be fucked and it was a grind, I could still aim for that 1% betterment overall because I had that list of non-negotiables that I had to do every single time. And again, in this current climate, it's easy to be overwhelmed when life just is when life is just one fucking curveball, which it is at the moment. 2020 is the curveball of all curveballs. And shit feels like it's spiraling out of control. You don't know what to focus on. You're getting bombarded by fucking news and social media and all this shit. And focusing on the basics, good nutrition, exercising when you can, good sleep, being hydrated, just like dumb shit that you don't really think of that are just like the essence of the foundation of a healthy life, mentally and physically and spiritually. And that became more evident during a time like this. Lesson 3 is we have way more time than we think we do. I thought I realized this when I did this the first time, but we have way more time than we think we do. And again, being stuck at home really fucking drove the nail into the coffin for this one. We just clog it up with so much shit, whether we're on social media, we're watching the news, which then fills our own mental capacity with shit. We watch Netflix, we play video games, and that's not to say these things aren't a good escape. We should enjoy these things, but if you're using those instead of, doing something that would serve you better, serve your health better, serve your life better, whether it's working, improving on yourself, just doing something that fulfills you some of the time instead of having all that downtime doing all this extra shit, we have way more time to do that than we think we do. And, to paraphrase a Stoic philosopher, Seneca, that I read, 3 months ago, is that, we don't actually have a short life. We just squander a long one. And that was really evident during the last 75 days when, I felt like I was really busy sometimes and I didn't get anything done at work, but I also didn't do that much because I was focused on trying to get the targets done. And again, that focus and that pinpoint structure really helped keep it all together. Lesson 4 is just do it. Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up, bite your tongue, and do what you need to do. Again, doing these 5 tasks every day for 75 days, there are times when my brain started to give me choices and started to give me ways out when I didn't really feel like it. And I think training myself and training oneself to pick the right way that you need to go at that tipping point. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits, that choice that you have where it's yes or no on the path that you need to take on the right decision. It's a habit and it needs to be exercised to pick the right way more often than not. And a good way of doing that is by picking that for 75 days. There were times where I was like, fuck, I need to do my second workout, or fuck, I need to read my book. I need to get my water down. It was just like, if I need to go for a run, just like, don't even think about anything. Put my running clothes on, go put my runners on, just get outside and go do it. And that's something that I think we overlook sometimes when we get caught up in the hustle bustle of life. Lesson 5 is consistency over everything. This was another one that sort of really slapped me in the face as like a fucking duh. We talk about consistency and effort and how important it is. And it sort of occurred to me how underrated sometimes just showing up is. I got to day 20 and thought, fucking, why isn't this easy? Why is this routine yet? I'm not seeing the results that I wanted to see. And it made me think that we often, and I've done it plenty of times before, often give up a new habit or a new routine after, X number of days because you don't let it be properly embedded into your new identity or your new routine, your new structure, and be accepted into the new norm. And by not doing that, by not allowing that and focusing on the end result too much or trying to be perfect, we fall into the trap of not giving enough time of consistent effort over a long term rather than a short term intense effort to actually see results in our own lives. So they're my 5 lessons. Last thing I want to talk about was some tips. And I realized I said tips and tricks at the start, but this really is tips. There is no trickery. There is no ways to slide on this, because at the end of the day, you're just sliding on yourself and you getting the most out of the program, whether it's 75 hard, whether it's another exercise program that you do, whether it's training for something, whatever it is. Being able to focus on what you need to do and doing the best that you possibly can is always option number 1. So first tip is around the water. A gallon of water, so it's almost 4 liters of water. It can be fucking hard. And a lot of people that I've read about are doing the challenge as well, get stuck doing this one. So my tip is to get the water in as early as possible. This is the second time that I've done this. The first time I remember I was traveling a lot for work and I was having to get a lot of 2 or 3 liters of water in after sort of 3 p.m. I was flying overseas and I was flying interstate, and getting that water in was so hard at night. So when I got up early after my walk, I would get 3 or 4 cups of water in that first hour or 2 of being awake. And then I had 2 of these 1.5 liter bottles that I could just track how much water I was drinking. And I aimed to get about half of the water down before lunchtime. Second tip is schedule an active rest day. So your workouts are going to be tough, and there are going to be weeks, especially sort of week 3 or 4, and then again around, I think it was week 8, I reckon, in the 50s, where things just start to feel sore. You feel achy, hamstrings are tight, shoulders are feeling tight. An active rest day is really important, I think, to maintain your intensity throughout the whole thing. And what clicked for me was it's not about having a day where you don't do a full-on workout. It's having that rest day with intent. So do your stretches, do your mobility stuff, still work on yourself, because there's a difference in having an intentional rest day when you actually deserve it after working out twice a day for 6 days, versus having a rest day when you think you deserve it and you've worked out 3 times in the last 2 weeks and you're like, oh, I'm a bit sore, I'm going to have a rest day. Huge difference. And that's another thing that sort of clicked for me doing this challenge. The third tip, and this is key as well, is plan your fucking weeks. Have your workouts ready. Know what workouts you're going to do. Meal prep if it's possible. Like I said, have your water sort of handy. Get a routine that it's good for you. If you have to go out, check the menus before you go out to cafes or restaurants, so you know what you can eat. You don't have to stress out. So you can wrap your head around what it is that you have to do. And the sooner you take ownership of it, and the sooner that you get into the swing of this is on me to do, the better it's going to be for you. And the last tip is enjoy the fucking process. Yes, it's going to be hard. That's the whole fucking point of it. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to ask you, well, why the fuck am I doing this? What are you going to get out of it? And you just got to tell them, I'm doing this for me, and that's all that fucking matters. And if you can enjoy that process, enjoy the improvement of it, pick some books that you want to read, don't force things down. It is a mental discipline challenge. It's meant to be difficult, but just enjoy the process. And I really can't stress that enough. This is potentially for some people, transformative in how they view their lives and how they carry themselves, and treat it as such. And you, again, will only get as much out of the program as you put into it. So if you want to do it 75 days properly, you're going to see results after 75 days. And that's just what it is. Lastly, thank you for watching this video. I am planning to put out some videos similar to this around the lessons that I've learned and some tips and tricks on productivity and mental toughness and mindset as part of my channel. So if you do like this video, if you like the vlogs, please click like or subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos in the future. In terms of what's next, I'm actually starting phase 1 of the 75 Hard Challenge tomorrow, which is a 30-day program that incorporates all 5 tasks from the 75 Hard Challenge. And what's added on top of that is 10 minutes of visualization, a cold shower, a 5-minute cold shower, and 3 power tasks to move you forward in your life. I will be doing some vlogs about those as well, but maybe on a more weekly basis this time. Look forward to getting on with that and making some more improvements. And hopefully I will see you then. Until then.